Hey everyone, today we're going to be counting down the top 15 most unusual real estate projects ever conceived. Starting with number 15, the underwater city of Ocean Spiral, Japan, a futuristic vision for life beneath the sea. The Ocean Spiral, it's a concept that's developed by Shimizu Corporation, a Japanese engineering firm. It's one of the most futuristic and unusual real estate projects ever envisioned. It aims to create a fully functional underwater city capable of housing up to 5,000 people. This project is designed to address overpopulation, land shortages, and the effects of rising sea levels, and it offers a sustainable and technologically advanced solution for future urban living. Ocean Spiral would be a self-sufficient, submerged metropolis spiraling downwards into the depth of the ocean. Now, the design consists of three main sections: a floating dome at the surface, a massive spiral structure extending downward into the sea, and an ocean floor research and energy facility. The upper dome would house residential, commercial, and recreational areas, while the spiral would serve as a transport and resource hub connecting the city to the seabed below. The city would use deep-sea thermal energy conversion to generate power that would rely on temperature differences between the warm surface water and the colder deep sea. It would also extract minerals and metals from the seabed, which would create a sustainable model for undersea mining. This project will also include air recycling technology, desalination systems for freshwater production, and waste-to-energy conversion, making it one of the most eco-friendly urban designs ever proposed. Though still in the conceptual phase, Shimizu Corporation estimates that Ocean Spiral could become a reality by 2050, as advances in underwater construction, energy gen, and deep-sea habitation continue to evolve. From an aerial view, this thing would appear as a futuristic floating dome that's connected to a deep-sea spiral structure, forming a distinct and artificial contrast against the ocean. It would, in theory, redefine the way humans interact with the ocean, turning the deep sea into a thriving, habitable environment. Number 14. The Floating City of Maldives, a waterborne urban utopia. The Floating City of the Maldives is an innovative real estate project that's designed to combat the existential threat of rising sea levels, which is increasingly endangering low-lying island nations. Now, this is located just a few miles from the Maldivian capital of Male. This futuristic floating city aims to provide permanent, climate-resilient housing for up to 20,000 people, making it one of the first large-scale floating urban developments in the world. The city is designed as a network of interconnected floating platforms that mimic the natural pattern of coral reefs. These platforms will be anchored to the ocean floor using flexible mooring systems, allowing them to rise and fall with the tides. This design will ensure that the city can adapt to any changing sea levels, which makes it an essential prototype for future coastal cities. The buildings will be constructed using lightweight, sustainable materials, and the city will be powered by renewable energy. And additionally, the city's going to feature floating gardens, seaweed farms, and marine conservation zones to promote biodiversity and ecological sustainability. The Maldivian government, in partnership with Dutch-based architectural firm Water Studio, has already started construction on the first residential units, with full-scale completion expected by 2027. If successful, this project could pave the way for future floating cities in other vulnerable locations like Bangladesh, the Philippines, and the Pacific Island nations. Critics argue that while floating cities offer a short-term adaptation strategy, they don't address the underlying causes of climate change, like carbon emissions and deforestation. Additionally, concerns over long-term maintenance and potential storm surges and the high cost of construction do raise questions about whether the floating city can truly become affordable and a scalable solution for millions of displaced people. From an aerial view, the floating city will resemble a giant interconnected coral structure that emerges from the Indian Ocean. The pattern of floating homes and green spaces will be clearly distinguishable from traditional land-based cities, which will make it a remarkable sight from space. If completed successfully, it will be a model for climate-resilient urban design, showing that humanity can adapt to life on the water in the face of rising seas. Number 13. The Great Wall Apartments in China, a residential complex built to resemble the Great Wall. The Great Wall Apartments, located in Beijing, China, it's one of the most unusual but fascinating real estate projects in the world, designed to mimic the structure of the Great Wall of China, while also serving as a functional, modern residential complex. This wavy, fortress-like apartment structure will stretch across a hillside, creating the illusion of an urbanized section of the wall. Designed by architect Stephen Hall, the Great Wall apartments were completed in the early 2000s, and they stand as a blend of contemporary design and historical inspiration. The entire complex is painted in earthy tones to blend in with the surrounding environment, and that reinforces the visual connection to one of China's most famous landmarks. Unlike traditional apartments that follow rectangular or vertical layouts, this complex is built in a meandering form, allowing for maximum natural light and unobstructed views of the nearby mountains. Each unit is designed with floor-to-ceiling windows, spacious balconies, and a unique angular layout, which creates a living experience that's vastly different from typical urban housing. The design incorporates green roofs, passive solar heating, and natural ventilation system, reducing energy consumption and making the complex one of the most environmentally friendly solutions. But despite the unusual design, the apartments have become highly sought-after residents, attracting artists, architects, and wealthy professionals looking for a unique living space, while also providing easy access to Beijing's cultural and economic hubs. From an aerial view, the Great Wall Apartments appears as a winding, snake-like structure that's nestled in the hills outside Beijing. The undulating shape and integration with the natural landscape make it stand out from conventional urban developments, creating a harmony between modern architecture and historical inspiration. Number 12. The Bosco Verticale, Italy, a skyscraper forest in the heart of Milan. The Bosco Verticale, or vertical forest, is one of the most revolutionary real estate projects in the world, consisting of 2 residential towers in Milan in Italy, covered in more than 900 trees and 20,000 plants. This approach to urban sustainability transforms high-rise living into an ecological masterpiece, allowing residents to live within a forest while still being in the heart of a major city. Designed by Italian architect Stefano Boeri, it was completed in 2014 and has since become a global icon of green architecture. The 2 towers stand at 110 meters and 76 meters respectively, that's 360 feet and 249 feet tall, with each balcony covered in lush greenery that changes with the seasons. The project was conceived to combat air pollution here, reduce urban heat islands, and promote biodiversity within the cityscape. The whole complex was designed to be self-sustaining, with an advanced irrigation system that will collect and recycle rainwater to nourish the plants. The integration of plant life does reduce noise pollution here, improves humidity levels, and provides natural habitats for birds and insects. Each of the 900 apartments here offers residents a unique blend of nature and modern living, with large glass windows that seamlessly merge indoor and outdoor environments. The success of Bosco Verticale has inspired similar green architecture projects in cities around the world, including Singapore, New York, and Dubai, as developers recognize the benefits of integrating nature into high-rise living. From a satellite perspective, it appears as 2 lush green towers rising from Milan's dense urban grid. It shows the very potential of vertical greenery in reshaping modern cities. If future urban developments adopt similar styles, entire skylines could become living ecosystems, turning high-density areas into thriving green spaces that are visible from space. Number 11. The Nakajin Capsule Tower in Japan, the original micro-apartment skyscraper. The Nakajin Capsule Tower in Tokyo was one of the most unusual real estate projects ever built, serving as an early example of modular micro-housing. Designed by architect Kisho Kurakawa in 1972, this futuristic, brutalist-style tower was composed of 140 detachable capsule units, each measuring only 10 square meters or 107 square feet. This project was meant to embody the metabolism architectural movement, which emphasized flexibility, adaptability, and self-sustaining urban growth. Unlike traditional apartment buildings where floors and rooms are built in a fixed structure, this capsule tower was designed so each individual capsule could be replaced or removed without disturbing the rest of the building. Each unit contained a built-in bed, a small desk, a TV, a radio, and a compact bathroom, reflecting that minimalist, space-saving culture of Japan. Now, one of the more unusual aspects of this tower was the target audience. The tower was primarily designed for businessmen who need a place to stay overnight in Tokyo, functioning as an early version of what we now call micro-apartments. However, despite this revolutionary concept, the capsules weren't updated or replaced over time, leading to structural decay. By the early 2000s, most of the units were abandoned and the building faced demolition due to safety concerns. Despite its decline, though, the capsule tower remains a cultural and architectural icon which influenced modern pod hotels, micro-living spaces, and modular housing, makes it a critical piece of Tokyo's architectural history. From an aerial view, the tower once appeared as a distinctive cube-like structure in Tokyo's dense urban fabric, but today, as demolition has begun, the site is transforming, and the legacy of the tower still remains visible in the micro-apartment trend that has since exploded worldwide. Number 10. The cave houses of Matera in Italy, ancient homes that are turned into luxury real estate. The cave houses of Matera are one of the oldest continually inhabited real estate projects in the world that dates back over 9,000 years. Known as Sassi di Matera, these ancient cave dwellings were carved directly into limestone cliffs that formed a city of interconnected homes, tunnels, and underground structures. It was once seen as a symbol of poverty. These cave homes have now been transformed into some of Italy's most exclusive luxury properties. These cave dwellings were originally inhabited by prehistoric settlers who had dug into the soft limestone to create naturally insulated homes that remained cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Over the centuries, it grew into a thriving settlement with churches, monasteries, and communal living spaces all carved into the rock. However, by the mid-20th century, Matera was labeled the shame of Italy, as its residents lived in extreme poverty. In the 1950s, the Italian government forcefully relocated thousands of people, leaving the caves abandoned. In the late 20th, though, efforts to restore and preserve Matera began, leading to a remarkable transformation of the cave dwellings into high-end properties. Today, the city is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which attracts travelers and investors from around the world who are fascinated by its unique blend of ancient architecture and modern luxury. Matera has gained a bit of fame as a filming location for Hollywood blockbusters, including James Bond's No Time to Die and Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. This exposure has further increased interest in real estate development and tourism, making Matera one of Italy's most unexpected and sought-after property markets. From above, the unique topography and organic integration of the homes into the cliffs make it pretty visually striking. It stands as an example of human resilience and architectural ingenuity over thousands of years. Number 9. The Floating Homes of Ijsberg, Netherlands, a water-based neighborhood built for rising seas. The Floating Homes of Ijsberg, located in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, represents one of the most innovative real estate projects designed to combat rising sea levels and urban space shortages. Amsterdam, of course, has long been known for its engineering feats in water management, as much of the city is below sea level. However, with rising seas threatening coastal cities worldwide, the Floating Homes of Ijsberg offer a sustainable solution to urban expansion in flood-prone areas. This development consists of several floating neighborhoods where homes are designed to rise and fall with the water levels, ensuring that they remain habitable even during extreme weather. Now, unlike houseboats, which are often seen as temporary or mobile, these floating homes of Ijsberg are permanently anchored structures. They're connected to utilities like electricity, water, and sewage. Each home is built on a buoyant concrete platform, allowing it to stay afloat while also remaining stable. The homes are designed with large glass windows, solar panels, and green roofs, offering maximum energy efficiency and sustainability. These floating homes have gained significant attention from urban planners and climate scientists as they offer a scalable model for coastal cities facing sea level rise. Many experts believe that floating neighborhoods could become the future of urban living, particularly in cities like Miami, Bangkok, and Jakarta, where flooding does pose an existential threat. Additionally, some critics argue that floating neighborhoods may become exclusive enclaves for the wealthy, rather than a solution for widespread urban housing. The Ijsberg floating homes present challenges. Construction costs are higher than traditional housing, and many cities lack the infrastructure and regulations necessary to support these floating communities. From an aerial view, they appear as a grid-like pattern of homes that are floating on the water, which seamlessly blend in with the canals and lakes. As floating architecture continues to evolve, these serve as a pioneering example of how humans can adapt to a world where water and cities have to coexist. Number 8. The Pyramid City of Auroville, India, a utopian real estate experiment focused on spiritual living. The Pyramid City, located in Tamil Nadu in India, is one of the most unusual real estate projects, designed as a universal township that transcends nationality, religion, and politics. Established in 1968 by Mira Alfassa, also known as the Mother, Auroville was conceived as a spiritual and experimental community where residents from all over the world could live in harmony. At the core of Auroville lies the Maitre Mandir, a massive golden sphere surrounded by concentric circles of landscaped gardens and experimental housing units, giving the city a futuristic appearance. The Maitre Mandir serves as the spiritual center where residents and visitors engage in silent meditation and self-reflection. In this city, no one owns property. Land and buildings belong to the collective community, ensuring that development is based on a shared well-being rather than profit. Housing is allocated based on needs rather than market forces, and instead of traditional government systems, the city operates through self-governance and consensus-based decision-making. But despite the utopian ideals, Auroville has faced numerous challenges. Funding remains a constant issue as the city relies on international donations and community contributions to sustain itself. Additionally, integrating modern tech and infrastructure while maintaining spiritual and ecological principles has led to ongoing debates within the community. Some critics argue that Auroville is too idealistic and disconnected from mainstream economic realities, making it difficult to replicate on a larger scale. However, Auroville continues to attract environmentalists and social reformers from around the world, drawn by the vision of a new kind of human settlement that prioritizes mindfulness, cooperation, and ecological balance. From an aerial view, it appears as a carefully planned circular settlement with the golden Maitre Mandir at the center, surrounded by lush green forests and agricultural lands. Unlike conventional cities with rigid infrastructure, its fluid organic design stands as a symbol of alternative urban planning, showing a different way to live in harmony with nature and community. Moving on to number 7, the Interlace in Singapore, a stacked vertical village redefining urban housing. The Interlace in Singapore is one of the most unusual real estate projects. It was designed to revolutionize high-density living by breaking away from traditional towers. It's a massive interconnected structure made up of 31 stacked apartment blocks arranged in a hexagonal pattern, creating a series of open courtyards, rooftop gardens, and interconnected living spaces. It was designed by renowned architect Ole Sheeran. The Interlace was completed in 2013 as an attempt to redefine communal living in modern cities. Each apartment block is stacked in a seemingly random formation, which creates a series of open-air terraces, green roofs, and interconnected walkways. The design incorporates rainwater harvesting, solar panels, and extensive greenery, which reduces the project's environmental impact. It is a fully functional residential complex that offers over 1,000 apartments, ranging from 2 to 4 bedrooms, and each designed with large windows, open balcony, and flexible layouts. The development includes swimming pools, fitness centers, community gardens, playgrounds, and co-working spaces. It's won multiple international architectural awards, including the World Building of the Year in 2015 for its bold approach, proving that housing can be both functional and aesthetically inspiring while fostering a sense of community. From above, it looks like a geometric puzzle of interconnected blocks, and unlike traditional high-rises that create a uniform skyline, the Interlace's horizontal stacking and open courtyards creates a dynamic structure, making it one of the most recognizable residential projects in Singapore. Number 6. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon skyscraper in Iraq, a futuristic tribute to an ancient wonder. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, an ambitious real estate project proposed for Baghdad, Iraq, is designed to pay tribute to one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. It was inspired by the legendary Hanging Gardens of Babylon. This futuristic tower aims to recreate the ancient wonder using vertical farming, cascading terraces, and self-sustaining systems within a modern skyscraper. The design includes massive step terraces covered in vegetation, which allows for natural cooling, air purification, and urban agriculture, making it self-sufficient, a green oasis in the heart of a dense urban environment. The building would use solar panels, rainwater harvesting, and advanced irrigation systems to support its extensive plant life, and the terraces would feature hydroponic farms, fruit orchards, and vertical forests. The entire thing is designed to function as a self-sustaining system where waste is recycled and renewable energy powers all operations. But despite the grand vision, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon faces several challenges, including financial investment, engineering feasibility, and political stability. While Iraq is experiencing a resurgence in infrastructure development, executing such an ambitious project requires massive funding and advanced technology, which may take years to secure. Nonetheless, if built, the skyscraper could become one of the most iconic architectural achievements of the 21st century. From a satellite perspective, it would appear as a massive tiered green pyramid rising from the urban landscape of Baghdad, contrasting sharply with the surrounding desert. The rooftop greenery here would make it one of the most visually striking structures visible from space, symbolizing the future of ancient history and futuristic architecture in the Middle East. Number 5. The Cube Houses in the Netherlands, a geometric experiment in urban living. The Cube Houses in Rotterdam in the Netherlands are one of the most visually striking real estate projects designed to reimagine urban housing by defying traditional norms. Built in 1984 by Dutch architect Piet Blom, these tilted, cube-shaped houses are perched atop hexagonal pylons that creates an optical illusion that makes them appear as though they're balancing on one corner. Unlike conventional homes with flat floors and rectangular walls, these cube houses are built at 45-degree tilts, meaning that none of the walls or windows are perfectly vertical or horizontal. Each cube is designed as a 3-level living space where the lower level serves as the entrance and storage area, the middle level functions as the main living space, and the top level, shaped like a pyramid, acts as a bedroom or study with panoramic windows. Blom envisioned the cube houses as a forest of houses where each tilted cube would represent a tree and the overall development forms an abstract urban jungle. However, their non-traditional angles can be disorienting, making everyday activities like placing furniture or hanging artwork a pretty unique challenge. Despite their popularity, though, as an architectural landmark, these cube houses have received mixed reviews from residents. While some appreciate their artistic vision and the unique spatial experience, others find them impractical for daily living, particularly due to awkward angles and limited storage space. However, they do remain an example of Rotterdam's innovative approach to urban design and willingness to embrace unconventional ideas. From a satellite perspective, these houses appear as a geometric puzzle of bright yellow cubes tight-packed together, forming an abstract honeycomb-like pattern. The tilted angles and sharp edges create a dynamic landmark, making it one of the most instantly recognizable architectural experiments visible from above. Number 4. The Lilypad Floating Eco-City Future Concept, a self-sustaining floating civilization. So the Lilypad Floating Eco-City, it's one of the most ambitious and futuristic real estate projects ever envisioned, designed as a self-sustained floating city capable of housing up to 50,000 people. Created by Belgian architect Vincent Callebaut, this visionary project aims to address rising sea levels and overpopulation by creating a fully autonomous floating ecosystem that mimics the natural design of a lily pad. Unlike traditional cities that are built on land, this thing would function as a completely independent marine habitat, featuring solar panels, wind turbines, tidal energy converters, and self-sustaining food production systems. Its biomorphic design is inspired by natural systems, featuring a large central lagoon that serves as a water purification system and a marine life sanctuary. The outer edges of the city feature wave energy generators and algae farms, which will help power the settlement while also producing biofuels and essential nutrients. The structure is designed to be built from lightweight recyclable materials, including algae-based bioplastics and modular bamboo frames, and that's going to make it one of the most environmentally friendly urban developments ever proposed. Critics argue that the cost of the building and maintaining such a floating megastructure could be prohibitively high. The logistical challenges too, like waste management, resource distribution, and transportation, would also need to be addressed. Additionally, questions remain about how well a floating city could withstand extreme storms, hurricanes, or even ocean currents. From above, it would appear as a giant organically shaped island that drifts through the ocean, with its green roof, solar panels, and tidal energy converters creating a distinct contrast against the deep blue water. It represents a bold step towards sustainability, ocean-based living in the face of rising seas. Number 3. The Mars City Project Future Concept, a self-sustaining colony on the Red Planet. The Mars City Project. It's one of the most ambitious and unusual projects ever proposed, envisioning the construction of a permanent human settlement on Mars. Spearheaded by space agencies like NASA and SpaceX, as well as private enterprises and futuristic architects, this concept seeks to develop a fully self-sustaining habitat for human life on the Red Planet. Unlike conventional cities on Earth, Mars City must be entirely self-contained, featuring pressurized living environments, artificial ecosystems, and closed-loop resources to support human life. These proposed designs incorporate dome-shaped habitats, underground tunnels, and radiation shielding materials, ensuring that shelters are protected from Mars's thin atmosphere, freezing temps, and solar radiation. Scientists and engineers are proposing using 3D printing technology with Martian soil that's called regolith to construct the buildings, while water could be extracted from underground ice deposits. Solar panels would provide energy, and greenhouses would produce food through hydroponic and aeroponic farming. But communication with Earth would experience huge delays, meaning that the artificial intelligence and automation would have to play a major role in designing and managing daily operations. Critics of this project argue that the cost, logistics, and ethical concerns of sending humans to Mars remain major obstacles. Some believe that robotic exploration and terraforming efforts should be prioritized before attempting human colonization, while others warn that psychological and social challenges of living in an isolated extreme environment could pose even greater risks. Well, despite those challenges, projects like SpaceX's Starship development and NASA's Artemis missions are already laying the groundwork for interplanetary travel. Scientists estimate that the first human outposts on Mars could be established as early as 2040, with the long-term goal of creating a self-sufficient civilization beyond Earth. From above, it would appear as a futuristic network of geodesic domes, underground habitats, maybe even solar farms that form the first artificial settlement on another planet. The contrast of the reddish surface with the city's human-made structures will symbolize humanity's first step towards becoming an interplanetary species. Number 2. The Ice Hotel in Sweden, a luxury resort rebuilt from ice every year. The Ice Hotel in Sweden, it's one of the most unusual projects. It's completely rebuilt every year using blocks of ice from the Torn River. Unlike conventional hotels, which are made of permanent materials, the Ice Hotel exists only for a few months before melting back into the river in the spring. Each winter, a team of architects, artists, and engineers come together to carve out the hotel from thousands of tons of ice, creating a one-of-a-kind structure that includes bedrooms, lounges, a chapel, and of course an ice bar where drinks are served in frozen glasses. But one of the most unusual aspects here is the zero-carbon footprint. It relies entirely on natural materials that just return to the environment once the season ends. Guests are provided with thermal sleeping bags, of course, and reindeer hide blankets to stay warm, and there are also heated common areas with nearby lodging with traditional hotel rooms for those who prefer warmth. But despite the temporary nature, the Ice Hotel has been operating successfully since 1989, attracting thousands of people from around the world each winter, and it's inspired similar projects in Canada, Norway, and Finland. But the original Swedish Ice Hotel remains the most famous and celebrated ice structure in the world. From above, its ephemeral nature means that it's never really visible from space for too long, making it one of the most fleeting, yet visually spectacular real estate projects on the planet. Number 1. The Burj Al Babas in Turkey, a ghost town of abandoned luxury castles. The Burj Al Babas, located in Turkey, is one of the most unusual projects, consisting of hundreds of abandoned, identical luxury castle-style villas. Originally, it was designed as an upscale residential community for wealthy people. This project was meant to offer a storybook-inspired life, but instead it's become one of the most bizarre failures in modern history. The project began in the early 2010s when the Saro Group, a Turkish real estate development company, envisioned a grand housing project designed to attract rich investors. Inspired by French chateaux, the development planned to include 732 identical mini castles, complete with Gothic turrets, domed towers, and opulent marble interiors. These villas were to be sold for prices ranging from $400,000 to $500,000 each, targeting high-net-worth buyers seeking a fairy tale-like retreat. God, those prices seem like a deal these days. The Turkish economy, though, began to struggle, and the real estate market collapsed, leading to a sharp decline in demand for luxury properties. Additionally, the Sauro Group faced bankruptcy in 2018, and that halted construction when only about 350 of the planned 732 castles had been built, leaving a half-finished ghost town of abandoned mansions. Adding to this eerie atmosphere is the fact that many of the homes were never completed, leaving these empty shells with no interior finishing, exposed concrete floors, and missing doors and windows. And despite being abandoned for years, developers have expressed hope that the project could still be revived. In 2023, reports came out suggesting that new investors were interested in completing the development, potentially turning it into a tourist attraction, a luxury resort, or even a film set for historical and fantasy movies. But the failure of Burj Al Babas highlights the risks of speculative real estate, where grandiose projects are launched without really fully understanding the market demand, economic stability, or even sustainable planning. This place has become a monument to real estate ambition gone wrong, joining the ranks of other failed mega-projects that were never completed. But from a satellite perspective, it appears like a vast repetitive grid of identical gray castles, standing in contrast to the surrounding hills and rural farmland. The fact that so many of these castles remain empty and unfinished makes it one of the most striking and eerie real estate failures that is visible from above, an example of how big dreams can sometimes turn into ghostly ruins. Click to watch the next video on the 15 most useless megaprojects in the world. Thank you for watching Top 5s, and thank you to our channel members.